Today we're diving into 10 classic RWD sports cars that are truly worth every penny. Modern cars are fast, but they've lost that raw, connected driving feel, something these old-school legends deliver in every mile. From stunning designs to pure rear-wheel drive fun, many of these classics are rising in value fast. And while some icons now cost as much as a house down payment, there are still plenty of RWD gems that offer incredible driving joy without breaking the bank. Let's get into the classics that still deliver the thrill America loves. Chevrolet Camaro SS, 4th generation. Average used value, $25,016. The 4th generation Chevrolet Camaro SS is one of the youngest cars on this list. That also explains why it's the most expensive, with an average used value of $25,016 looking at recent sales on Classic.com, with average condition models usually fetching just half that amount. That doesn't mean that it isn't worth every penny just as much as the other cars we'll be seeing later on, though. The 4th generation Camaro SS is a fantastic entry point into owning a proper American sports car. 1993 to 1997 Camaro SSs have the 5.7-liter LT1 V8 or the LT4 engine of the same size, producing 275 to 305 horsepower, or the LT4 engine of the same size, producing 330 horsepower. 1998 to 2002 facelifted models replaced those engines with the LS1 engine, also 5.7 liters, producing 305 to 330 horsepower. That gives the 4th generation Camaro SS great performance, even by modern standards, with the facelifted version having a 0 to 60 time of around 5.2 seconds if it has the 6-speed manual transmission. Pontiac Firebird Trans Am 4th generation. Average used value, $24,169. Another one of the youngest cars on this list, the 4th generation Pontiac Firebird Trans Am is based on exactly the same platform as the 4th generation Chevrolet Camaro SS mentioned earlier, and very similar performance. It's also broadly similar in value to the 4th generation Camaro SS, averaging $24,169 on the used market. That makes it as much of a bargain as the 4th generation Camaro SS, and one you'll definitely not regret going for. Chevrolet Corvette C4. Average used value, $20,244. The Chevrolet Corvette is one of America's most enduring sports cars. It's been around for generations by now, and some classic Corvettes are still affordable. That includes the C4 generation, which was produced during the 80s and 90s. The C4 was available in a wide variety of different models and trims, with all of them powered by a 5.7-liter V8 of some description. The legendary Callaway Corvette added twin turbochargers to that V8, creating versions that had anything from a fairly sedate 382 horsepower to a monstrous 880 HP, in the case of the one-off Sledgehammer. The C4 ZR1 is also highly prized, with an output of up to 405 horsepower and 385 pound-feet of torque and a top speed that knocked on the door of 180 miles per hour. Whichever C4 Corvette you go for, you're getting a sports car with good power and performance for its day, and a fantastic base to do some resto modding. The C4 Corvette is one of the biggest bargains you can find in the classic sports car market. It's got an average used value of $20,244 across all its variants, including those super desirable ZR1 and Callaway models. Base model examples can also be picked up for an incredibly cheap price, with some selling as low as $5,000 or less. If you play your cards right, you could have a proper American sports car for super many money that'll only end up increasing in value over time. Mazda RX-7 SA22. Average used value, $16,974. The RX-7 has to be one of Mazda's most iconic sports cars. While there hasn't been a rotary-powered sports car in Mazda's lineup for a long time now, enthusiasts still fondly remember the RX-7 for how brilliant it was. While most people will lust after the final FD generation, the original SA22 generation is arguably a much better bargain. You can get one on the used market for around $16,974 according to Classic.com, with average condition models usually fetching just half that amount. That doesn't mean that it isn't worth every penny just as much as the other cars we'll be seeing later on, though. The fourth-generation Mazda RX-7 is a fantastic entry point into owning a proper American sports car. 1993 to 1997 Camaro SSs have the 5.7-liter LT1 V8 engine or the LT4 engine of the same size, producing 330 horsepower. 1998 to 2002 facelifted models replaced those engines with the LS1 engine, also 5.7 liters, producing 305 to 330 horsepower. That gives the fourth-generation Camaro SS great performance even by modern standards, with the facelifted version having a 0 to 60 time of around 5.2 seconds if it has the 6-speed manual transmission. Porsche 924. Average used value, $13,315. The first of two affordable Porsches on this list, the Porsche 924 was designed in collaboration with Volkswagen as a front-engined entry-level model. The collaboration with VW is what gave it its original engine, a 2-liter inline-4 that was from the Volkswagen LT van. That unfortunately gave it an undeservedly bad reputation with enthusiasts who viewed it as a poor man's Porsche and not a proper Porsche car. That didn't stop it from being a sales success, though, as just over 150,000 of them were produced. Some enthusiasts have also found out that they actually prefer the front-engined rear-wheel drive setup of the 924. It's easier to handle than a classic 911, and a typical sports car driver will be more used to it. Thanks to its unloved reputation, the Porsche 924 is still cheap. They still go for an average value of $13,315 on the used market across all their variants. That means you can get an absolute bargain even if you go for one of the later examples or for a more expensive variant like the 924 Turbo. Buy one now and you can guarantee that the Porsche badge on the front will make it a genuinely valuable classic in due time. Porsche 944. Average used value, $13,047 for the base model, $28,692 for the Turbo. The second of the two Porsches on this list, the Porsche 944, is a newer version of the same platform that the Porsche 924 was based on. Because of that, it got a lot of the same prejudices, and certain enthusiasts also prefer its driving dynamics over the classic 911s of the same era. Time has proven it to be one of the best used sports cars around, though. You can pick one up for an average of $13,047 for a base model, and the more desirable and more fun 944 Turbo can be yours for an average of $28,692. The 944 Turbo has genuinely great performance for its era, too, producing around 220 HP and 243 pound-feet of torque from its turbocharged 2.5-liter inline-4 engine. Like the 924, that Porsche badge will almost guarantee that the 944 will become a properly desirable classic in the future. If you go out and buy one now, you're going to have an old-school sports car that's absolutely worth every penny. Toyota MR2 AW10. Average used value, $12,012. The W10 Toyota MR2 is a car that's loved by almost every enthusiast. It's really not difficult to see why. It's a lightweight, mid-engined, two-seater, rear-wheel drive sports car built to the same philosophy that Colin Chapman applied to his classic Lotus cars. The result was a car that only has 82 HP from its 1.5-liter inline-4 engine, but it's still got very good performance because it's so light. It's also cheap to run and easy to maintain thanks to using a whole gamut of parts from other Toyotas of the same era. The rear end of the car is even just the front end of an 80s Corolla running in reverse. These early MR2s are knocking on the door of proper classic status. Even so, they're still very cheap, with base models being worth around $12,012 on the used market right now. With how great these old MR2s are to drive and how easy they are to maintain thanks to Toyota's scavenging of its parts bin for its components, you won't regret a single penny you paid for it. Jaguar XJS. Average used value, $11,793 to $15,626. In the world of Jaguar, the XJS is a car that's often overlooked by enthusiasts. It's been considered as being one of the ugly ducklings in Jaguar's history for a long time. Its early quality and reliability issues certainly didn't help with that, giving the XJS a bad reputation that's carried on to this day. That's a shame, because in many ways the XJS is a great car. It's a comfy Grand Touring that was available either with a 3.6-liter inline-six or a 5.3-liter V12. The V12 was initially the only engine option in the XJS. The straight six was added with the introduction of the Series 2 generation. The XJS's ugly duckling reputation has meant that prices are still almost laughably cheap. An early Series 1 model will cost you around $11,793, while an example of the final Series 3 version will cost you only a little bit more at around $15,626. That makes it worth every penny, despite all the horrors it's reputed to have. Look after one of these well, and time will be kind to it. Mazda MX-5 Miata, NA. Average used value, $10,623. It would be impossible to make a list about classic rear-wheel drive sports cars and not mention the first generation of the Mazda MX-5 Miata. Based on the same principles as Common Chapman's Lotus Elan, in much the same way as the original Toyota MR2, the NA Miata has a conventional front-engined rear-wheel drive setup instead of the MR2's mid-engined layout. It only ever had small inline-4 engines, but that's all it needed, as it's a very light car. Its great driving dynamics, combined with its affordability and bulletproof Japanese reliability, made it the best-selling sports car of all time. The NA Miata is slowly entering into proper classic status, and people really want to buy them for their fun, old-school feel. Even so, they're still very cheap to buy. It's the second cheapest option here, with an average used value of $10,623. Buy an NA Miata now, and you absolutely won't regret it. MGB. Average used value, $10,087. The cheapest car on this list might be one that's a bit of a surprise, but for those who know, the MGB is an absolute classic sports car bargain. It had the longest production run of any car on this list, lasting from 1962 to 1980, and it was powered by the 1.8-liter version of the venerable BMC B-Series inline-4 engine. This isn't a very powerful engine. It only produced around 70 to 95 horsepower, depending on when it was made and what market it was sold in. But it didn't need to be, as the MGB is a very light car. Its great driving dynamics, combined with its affordability and bulletproof Japanese reliability, made it the best-selling sports car of all time. Even though it's in the age range to put it into bona fide classic car territory, the MGB is still only worth around $10,087 on the used market. Some absolutely pristine examples have managed to fetch over $35,000 though, so it might not be long before it becomes properly valuable. If you buy a cheap one now and look after it, you can be sure that it'll be absolutely worth every penny you paid.